My roommate brought bedbugs into our apartment and ruined my life. So I became a delivery driver and started delivering bedbugs to random people around the city. I'm posting this now because I know people are probably still too distracted by the election results or whatever to even notice. But I need to tell my story to someone, or at least part of it. I need to know that some part of me is normal and this can all be explained. I need to know that I didn't splinter completely away from the reality I used to know. I want to also lead with the fact that I am not trying to scare people or cause any issues. Part of me doesn't understand why I do this or how it got to this level. Part of the other part was so angry, and I wanted others to feel how I felt to lose what I lost. But now I am at peace. Most days I am happy. I just want to know that I'm not as alone as I feel. Some days I'm tired of feeling like an outcast and a reject. There has to be someone else I can truly share this lifestyle with. This all started in Massachusetts in 2018. I had been living in a place with a roommate, and he moved out. I posted a random ad on social media to fill the room. After not having luck finding someone at work or school, I ended up meeting a nice enough older guy who was originally from the area but was moving back from Georgia. We were complete internet strangers at the time, but I had an okay feeling and needed the help with rent bad enough that I let him move in. My girlfriend liked him as well, which was arguably the deciding factor. Let's just call him Mike. Anyways, Mike moved in, got a job quick enough, and life just went on. He didn't have much stuff, just a big trunk, lots of clothes and garbage bags, a TV, a mattress, and a box spring. He kept to himself, I kept to myself, and everything seemed normal. The bites showed up on my girlfriend first. In fact, I don't even think I was reactive at first. It was summertime, and I think we both wrote it off as mosquitoes. I had one of those cheap window fans, and at the time, that outside entry point made the most sense. But then I started seeing them. The first time I remember clearly, like vividly clear, I was laying on my back in bed watching Netflix, and I just casually noticed one crawling near my crossed arms on the blanket. They looked just like little beetles. I casually reached forward and just pinched it between my fingers to take away its life. I remember being surprised that it didn't crush and having to kind of grind it with friction between my fingertips to actually take away its life. It reminded me of how we would take away life from dog ticks as kids. I also clearly remember seeing blood mixed in with its twisted little body. I didn't think much of it at the time. Looking back, I have taken away life from hundreds, if not thousands of them, but this is the one that I remember, the one I feel bad for, and the one that I regret taking away life from. Knowing what I know now about these misunderstood and endlessly interesting little creatures, I wouldn't have picked her up and bothered her in the first place. She is Aishi in my brain's version of events, but her memory and her wrath live on, and I will do my part to continue my work. I started seeing them everywhere, but nowhere at the same time. Bugs really didn't bother me one way or the other, so I thought nothing of it. It's an apartment. There are going to be bugs on my bath towel when I would get out of the shower on the couch. I watched two of them crawl back between the outlet cover when I reached down to plug my vape charger back in the lint trap. I would always find them in the dryer lint trap and yes, the bed. But honestly, back then, I remember this the least. It was actually my girlfriend that finally figured it out and named them. By this time, I had been seeing them for a few months and just never mentioned it. She was a girl, and girls get freaked out by bugs. At the time, I don't think I really grasped the ramifications of the situation and had no previous experience with bedbugs. The one thing I still do regret is not telling her sooner of what I suspected. If she ever does read this, she will know who I am. So here's my apology for that part. At least she freaked out. I think I freaked out because she was so worried and I saw this as possibly losing her. The pandemic was full blown at this point. She lived with her cousin but slept at my house almost every night. It was something she was worked up over, and I cared about her, so I took it seriously. I dove down the rabbit hole and ended up right here on Reddit on our bedbugs, bug bombs, vacuuming sprays, diatomaceous earth, DIY traps. I got everything I could read about and afford and prepared to go to war. I can still remember purposefully going to the stores with self checkouts because I didn't want anyone to know. It felt like a dirty secret. That feeling is gone now, the shame, the guilt. But for now, and until now, it's still in some ways my secret. Mike was a private person and a homebody, but he was the only variable. This started when he showed up. I don't want to relay anger in my words towards him now, but this is the emotion I felt at the time: betrayed. I also realized this emotional response had a lot to do with my fear of losing my relationship and a genuine irrational paranoid mindset due to the pandemic, but I still needed to know. With my areas treated and my resources, armory stocked in my own closet, I took the chance. I had to check his room when he was at work. Not even 2 steps into the room and it was confirmed. Laundry all along the floor, plates and makeshift ashtrays in the blank spots of floor that weren't covered by clutter. You could see the passed away in his bed sat pushed up against the wall with no sheet on the mattress, just a thin blanket and a pillow with no case. Brown stains on the surface, the side walls, and all along every seam of stitching that held the edges of the mattress together on the pillow, on the box spring, on the baseboard next to the bed. This was all his blood, or worse, who knows, maybe some of mine and my girlfriend's. At this point, I remember feeling furious. From what I know now, this was an infestation, and I had been living 10 FT away through a wall sharing a bathroom, living room. He must have known, and this must have come with him from Georgia. To make a long story shorter, please just let this introduction serve as some context. I fought this for months. I tried everything. We tried everything. But I lost my girlfriend and I broke up. She says this wasn't the reason, but it started from this point and slowly just imploded. Being my job was disrupted from the pandemic. I worked remotely half the time, which was like a prison sentence. Being home, I was always on edge. I couldn't get comfortable anywhere or rest at night. I felt itchy all the time. I spent hundreds of dollars fighting this force I couldn't always see and always was defeated. Mike moved out after tensions between everything boiled over. My mom was hospitalized due to pandemic related issues and left disabled. So I gave up. I threw in the towel. I moved back out of state to move in with her and took back my old childhood bedroom. I took a pay cut and got a bad job. I started drinking heavily and I left that life, that nightmare behind and tried to start over. I lost my life, my career, my education, my girlfriend, and my friends. But there is one thing I did not lose. I work as a delivery driver now. The company is not important, the state does not matter. Just know I am always in and out of neighborhoods and delivering packages with a smile. I was sitting in my truck looking at this stupid scanner and felt a little tickle on my face. I knew what it was. But this time it hit me different. I wasn't mad, I wasn't creeped out, I just was. I gently grabbed the bug and pinched it in between my fingers like I had done over a year and a half ago. But this time I released my grip and just stared. There on my finger was this little bug. I had given so much power away to that I had blamed for all my problems. It didn't look so scary now. I felt bad for it. Honestly, I can't tell you the reason. But I took my other hand and gripped the next package on my list. I pinched the corner of the box to open it slightly and stuck my finger in and just kind of twisted my finger. When my finger came back out, the bug was gone. It was like a relief in such a strange and empowering sense that I have trouble rationalizing it or describing it. I delivered the package that night. When I got home, I felt alive for the first time in a long time. Like a high. I have not drank since this day. This will be the first thing I am openly thankful to these insects for giving me that part of my life back. Also, in a way, for giving me this new lease on life and why I am here. This may be where this story gets darker for some of you, but I have a feeling this is where some of you may start to relate to it. The rise of the underdog, the reckoning, the righting of wrongs, the revenge, the beautifully ugly rebirth of someone who thought they had lost everything but had really needed to shed their skin and find a new place. I am finally comfortable with my purpose and why I was put through this. I know the majority of the minority still reading will somehow understand this. You have too. I did my research. I started learning everything I could. How they are raised for research, how they spread naturally, and if it can be accelerated. How do they feed bedbugs in the lab? What are the laws? You would be surprised what you can order on the internet. You would also be surprised by the lack of regulations. I guess expecting intention is a loophole that can be exploited. Did you know most adult bedbugs can survive over a year without feeding? Do you know how handy this is when it comes to population control and separation trials? Bedbugs live for around 2 years and can produce 3 or more generations each year. It's usually more than 3, from my observation. They can hide almost anywhere and thrive in the worst conditions. I always found this as a comforting metaphor for survival and perseverance, and just mom and I here at home. She keeps getting worse, but I'm here and she always says that's what she needs and wanted. I'm not sure if she minds them or even notices more than what she mentions them, but she has become the babysitter when I'm working. She can't get out of that bed anyways, and here I am in my 40s. I am all she has, and in a way, this is the least she can do considering everything. It didn't take long for them to find her, and I constantly rescue healthy adults from her side of the upstairs at work. I call them gift bags. They're quite easy to make. Coffee filter twisted into a kind of parachute style, making sure the twist naturally opens on its own. I just use a popsicle stick to pry open the box enough and just drop it inside. Usually 3 adults, a few teenagers, and if I have the inventory, a few babies. At first, I was just letting individuals go inside the packages, but I realized it was a numbers game. Bedbugs are not asexual and need a male and female to mate. I don't know why I wasted my time thinking one individual would do anything, but I guess I learned fast. At least the terrariums make it easier to separate adults, juveniles, and nymphs, which was easily my best purchase next to the feeding boxes. That's a whole other story. Tutorial, I want you to understand the intent is not malicious in the typical sense of that word, but I have to believe there is a reason for everything. I'm into this too far, and in a way bound to this pathway, I have found meaning. I have become so much more social and started going out again. I bring them with me almost everywhere. I mean intentionally. Although they do still call the shots as nature's hitchhikers. I am aware of so much now. I notice details I never would have and am wondering when the switch happened, if not gradually, then overnight. I think about them constantly and where I will start the next family. I have started so many already. Movie theaters, grocery stores, libraries, doctor's offices, my dentist, different restaurants, anywhere. Oh, anywhere with a carpet. I volunteer now. I help neighbors. I go to church. I am finally involved in this community I grew up in and for years resented. I have taken back my independence. That's what they have given me. I have learned to become a functioning member of a collective of many, many individuals. I am not a bad person. I am not a hooded figure hiding in the shadows. I'm not lurking around a corner somewhere. I'm out in the neighborhood and people wave at me. I stop to chat. Kids like me, I love animals. I'm just confident in my newfound convictions and I'm sticking to them. I don't know if this will go on forever, but for now, it's not going to stop. I feel better already sharing this TL Dr. Gar. I have consciously bred and spread thousands of bedbugs over the last 3 years during my job and my free time.